But let's have some fun with Sir Charles. Now we got the right video. Charles Barkley is talking about how much the conservatives upset him and how they're fake Christians, and that throws Wolf Blitzer for a loop. Let's have fun. Here it is.
Every time I hear the word conservative, it makes me sick to my stomach because they're really just fake Christians, as I call them. That's all they are.
All right, one quick point before I let you go. You use the phrase fake Christians for conservatives. Explain what you're talking about.
Well, I think they want to be judge and jury. Like, I'm for gay marriage. It's none of my business if gay people want to get married. I'm pro-choice. And I think these Christians, first of all, they're not supposed to judge other people, but they're the most hypocritical judge of people we have in this country. And it bugs the hell out of me. They act like they're Christians and they're not forgiven at all.
So you're going to get a lot of feedback on this one, Charles.
They can't do anything to me. I don't work for them.
Do you feel comfortable saying all that?
I feel very comfortable saying I'm pro-choice and I'm for gay marriage. Very comfortable.
But you can't lump all these conservatives as being fake. A lot of them, obviously, most of them are very, very sincere in their religious beliefs.
Well, they should read the part of the Bible. They're not supposed to judge other people. They forget that one when it doesn't fit what they want to say.
All right, we got to leave it there, Charles. Thanks very much for joining us.
I love Charles Barkley. Now that actually, I'm glad we played the wrong video in the beginning, because now that I saw the interview in its entire context, I see that, of course, Wolf Blitzer did come up with a follow-up question. His producer must have said it in his ear. Hey, robot man, let me reprogram you. The man just said that all the conservative Christians were fake and that they discussed him, right? You might want to ask a follow-up question about that. So he asked him all the questions about his political aspirations and are you going to be the governor of Alabama and all that? And then he's like, oh, I have just been reprogrammed. I must ask you about the controversial comments you just made. How do you feel you are going to get in a lot of trouble? And Barkley's like, I feel totally fine. I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-gay rights. What are you going to do about it now, tough guy? Come on, J.R. Jackson, did you love Barkley there?
I've always liked Barkley, even when he's just talking about something as not important as a basketball game, because he'll tell you what's going on. He'll talk to you about it, and he'll say what he thinks, and he's not afraid of what people are going to say about him, because everybody's going to talk bad about you some way or another anyway. Just say it, dude, because it makes sense. What are you going to say? I can't believe you said that. Well, that's what I think.
Well, get around to believing it, because I just said it.
Right.
You just saw it.
How are you offended by me saying I don't like how fake you are?
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's one thing you can't fight with is the truth. No matter how much you don't like hearing it, no matter how much it's against what you want to think the world is doing or how the world goes, you can't fight against the truth. You have, if you hear it, you go, oh, okay.
So, by the way, one of the reasons why this is very interesting is because Barkley used to be a Republican, if you remember. Okay, and sometimes these friends of mine, Dave Kohler, our executive producer included, okay, play head games with me as if the world was never different and the Republicans were always like George W. Bush, right? And they were always crazy, they were always radical, etc. And then every once in a while you see someone like Barkley and you go, no, okay, I didn't take the crazy pill. Yes, there was reasons to be Republican. You agree or disagree, there was reasonable people on that side. And Barkley used to joke around and say, hey, I'm a Republican, and then his grandmother would say, but don't you know that the Republicans are only for the rich people? And then he'd say, yeah, but Grandma, I am rich. Okay. And then they asked him a couple of years back, hey, are you still a Republican? And he said, hell no. They said, why not? He's like, I was a Republican until they lost their minds. Now I'm not a Republican anymore. Look at him. They done lost their minds. And he's exactly right. I use that Barkley quote all the time because that's what happened. These folks lost their minds. So now Barkley's out there calling it like it is, but, CNN is freaked out by that because in their world, everything has to be 50-50. You have to be neutral. Even if one side is Farfour, the killer mouse, and, Nabula or whatever, the killer bee, and all that, and the other side is reasonable, no, 50-50, 50-50, down the middle. And Barkley says, but it's not 50-50. Those guys are nuts, and they're hypocritical, and I've seen Republican sexcapades. They don't do what they tell you they're going to do, and they're fake Christians. That's awesome. God bless. Go forward, Charles Barkley. Sir Charles on deck.
And yeah, and it also goes into not you actually care about what goes on in your mind and your thoughts and what you think is best for the country, not based off of the party. Like, oh, aren't you Republican? So I have to just vote based off of that? It's stupid. Why? If that's what's also programmed into everyone. They're like, oh, my parents were Republican, and I don't really know why, but yeah, okay.
Right. Why were you a Republican? And if you actually think about it, does it make sense to continue as a Republican? And that's one of the reasons you got to respect Charles Barkley, because he used his mind. He was like, now here were the reasons: limited government, less taxes, et cetera, economic reasons why I was a Republican. Now, they don't do that. Number one, they don't do that anymore. And now, number two, I'm not sure they ever did it, looking back in hindsight, right? But plus, then you've got this crazy, judgmental, religious side that sprung almost out of nowhere. I know where it came from, and I know how it got started, but now it's ascendant, and it's taken over. Plus, they start all these crazy wars. Well, then why would I be in favor of them? Like today, John McCain is getting an endorsement from George H.W. Bush. Apparently not a reporter in the crowd. Because if I'm sitting there, I gotta ask him, hey, listen, obvious question for you. So which Bush foreign policy do you support? George H.W. Bush's, who's endorsing you right now, he's standing with you today, or George W. Bush's? Because they're exactly opposite of one another. George H.W. Bush's New World Order, the precedent is one country cannot unilaterally attack another country without, as a first strike, without getting hit first, right? And George W. Bush's foreign policy, which is first strike, preemptive strike, don't wait for them to hit you, hit first. They're the exact opposite. They couldn't be more opposite. So which one do you support, John McCain? But not a reporter in the country. So no one asked him that question. And no one ever asked that question. Nobody ever asked George H.W. Bush how he feels about his son, screwing up his policy. There's a couple of people out there that are still using their minds, like Barkley, and when he goes on TV and says, no, I'm not buying it anymore, and here's what the reality is, Wolf Blitzer says, wait a minute, now, Charles, you are going to be in a lot of trouble for that. You cannot say the conservatives are hypocrites and fake Christians. You have to pretend that you respect them.